Call to order this meeting. This is the December regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Chippewa County. We have a special guest tonight who's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Staff Sergeant Jim German. You've done tours in, I see North Dakota. That's probably an easy one. But, yeah, but Italy, Turkey, South Korea, after departing the holidays to Portugal. So we're thankful that you're home for Christmas and thankful for your service.
Thank you.
If you would.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
Send this way, Joe.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. You're welcome to stay, but you don't have to.
It's nice to have some young blood in here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you saying? What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that.
Be careful. It's Christmas. Be charitable.
Michelle is looking at you.
We're not old, we're experienced.
Okay, will the clerk please take roll call attendance?
Commissioner Egan. Commissioner Martin.
Here?
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
Commissioner Savoy.
Here.
And Chairman Shackleton.
Here. So we have a quorum and we'll continue. Item number 4 is additions, deletions, and agenda approval.
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
Support?
Motion made and supported that we approve the agenda as it was presented. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. Approval of the county board minutes. We have regular board and public hearing, both of which are dated November 19th, 2018.
So approved.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we approve both of those minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. We move to correspondence received in the clerk's office. That is on page 40 of the package.
I'd move that we acknowledge the correspondence received in the clerk's office and forward as appropriate.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we acknowledge and forward the correspondence as appropriate. Any discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. Mr. German, we move to your report.
Public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped public comment. Anyone that would like care to speak under public comment? This is your opportunity. We just ask you to come up, use the microphone, and tell us what you're thinking. Second chance. And last chance for public comment. Public comment period is closed. Now we move to you, Mr. German.
You have the on page 41, the administrator's report. You have the health department, the War Memorial Hospital synopsis, the sheriff's department report, Department of Veterans Affairs, Public Defender's Office, and Animal Control, and a Huron County resolution. And the only thing I'd like to add is I want to thank the commission for a great year, and the public, and to the commission and the public, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. German. Then we will move on to old business. That is a regular item on our agenda, but we have nothing itemized, so we will move on to new business. And the first one is Resolution 1825, opting out of the requirements of PA 152 of 2011. That's on page 59. This particular exercise we have to do annually. If we don't, the employees of Chippewa County would be required to pay 20% of their health insurance. And the reason we do it is because we raise their co-pays and costs to the employees shortly before this thing happened. So we didn't want to give them a double whammy of expenses to their pocketbook.
I'll make a motion to approve 1825.
Support?
Motion made and supported that we approve the resolution number 1825. I'll make sure I got the right one. Yes. Any discussion on the motion? Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Commissioner McLean.
Yes.
Commissioner Savoy.
Yes.
And Chairman Shackleton.
Yes. So that passes. We have a resignation that was made by, Mr. White, Kevin, right?
Yes,
Mr. White, I understand, is joining the Air Force?
yes.
So there's another, local, fellow we'd like to thank for his service to our country as he joins the Air Force, but he did leave a vacancy at Chippewa County EDC and notified us a few weeks ago that his, resignation was immediate. And since we do have current, applications for that, there's nothing really stopping us from going ahead and making that appointment tonight. If, anybody object to that?
No. Could I just make a comment?
Sure.
Just to clarify that the appointment we're making tonight is for, I believe, a 4-year term. There will be an appointment made when we have our organizational meeting that will be for a 6-year term.
Right.
And that's the one that I'm interested in, is a 6-year term. So I just wanted everybody to understand that going into the voting.
Right. This is to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Kevin White.
Yep,
And there's about 4 years left.
I believe so.
Okay. So we do have a couple of applications, including, Commissioner McLean. Mr. McLean is indicating he'd prefer not to be considered for this appointment. So we have 2 others, which is Tom Farnquist and Ron Meister. And, what we can do is just do a round robin of voting as we generally do for these appointments. And if the clerk's ready, I'd ask you to go ahead and do that.
Mr. Chair, is there one opening or 2? Because I'm looking at
There's-
the check sheet.
There's, technically there's 2. There was one that was expiring, and that would be Commissioner McLean's. His expires at the end of December. But there's a second vacancy because Kevin White is resigning. So that one, he sent us a letter saying, I'm joining the Air Force. Well, I don't think he said he was joining the Air Force, but he's joining the Air Force, so he's resigning immediately. So that position is vacant right now because he resigned. So technically there's 2, but we're only gonna fill the one from Mr. White because he left it vacant a couple weeks ago.
Because my,
Commissioner McLean's position doesn't come vacant until the end of December.
so my question is, if we vote, so we're only voting for one of these 2 positions,
Yes.
but when are we gonna vote for the second
The
position?
second one is regularly scheduled, and we're doing all those at our January meeting.
So essentially Farnquist and Meister are gonna end up on the E EDC.
No, one or the other. Unless, okay, but there's
Because
3
he
there's 3
wants us-
applicants.
But he said he was interested in the 6-year term.
That's the other term. That's the other position. So there's 2 positions. There's the one that Commissioner McLean currently occupies, and he'd like to be reappointed for it, if I dare say. Then they have an opening that Mr. White has left, and either Mr. Farnquist or Mr. Meister are gonna fill that. So you've got 3 applicants for 2 positions, one of which, we can fill tonight because it is sitting empty right now.
Thank you.
Are we on the same page? Okay. So again, I would ask, the clerk to, take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Martin,
Tom Farnquist.
Commissioner McLean,
Tom Farnquist?
Commissioner Savoy,
Ron Meister.
and Chairman Shackleton.
Ron Meister? So, seeing as we have a pretty even number here, why don't we vote again and, see what happens? Sometimes we end up doing this 10 times and never really satisfy a result, but, we usually go through it a few times. So if you care to do it again.
Commissioner Martin,
Here it comes.
Wait, here comes Commissioner.
Sorry? Commissioner Egan, what we're doing right now is we're voting to fill an open position on the county EDC. This position has been left open by Kevin White, who resigned a couple weeks ago for immediate resignation. Therefore, the seat is open right now. There are 2 names, 3 actually, that are current application. One's Tom Farnquist, one's Don McLean, one's Ron Meister. Commissioner McLean asked not to be considered for this one, but to be considered to the one that expires at the end of the year, which is the one that he's currently occupying. So that leaves two names of Tom Farnquist and Ron Meister. And again, this person will fill the unexpired about 4 years of Kevin White's appointment.
Okay.
So you all straight with that? Are you gonna
Yeah, just one question.
Sure.
The EDC needs it filled immediately, or is this something that we can put back out and maybe try and get a few more applicants for?
We could. It's whatever the county would like to do. I mean, whatever this board would like to do.
I mean, it's always good to deepen the pool if we can, especially if they know that there's 2 seats open, we might get a few more applicants. Just a thought.
We can do whatever this board would like to do. It is currently vacant, and it would be okay to fill it right now, or it would be okay to see if other people are interested in it.
So, can I move that we push this off and open the application back up to other applicants?
I think.
Or am I not allowed to?
You know, I'm just trying to think because we were voting. I'm trying to think of whether that's out of order or not.
Yeah.
Look,
Since we tied the first time around, Mr. Chair.
Pardon?
Since we tied the first time around.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be?
It's not inappropriate, I guess, if you want to go ahead.
I would like
I'll
that.
recognize that as a motion.
Okay.
I'll support it.
Okay, so there is a motion made and supported. And again, my only hesitation was whether it was in order because we were already voting, but I think we completed one vote and I think it's okay. Without having an expert on Robert's rules in front of us, I think we're usually pretty easy going on it anyway.
Where's Jim Moore when you need him?
So,
We don't need him. That was uncalled for.
yeah, that was, you know it's Christmas.
Yeah.
How often do I have to remind you of that? Okay, so we do have a motion to go out for another, for more applications for this position. This would be a voice vote. If you're in favor, vote aye.
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 If you're opposed, vote nay. I'm not opposed. So the motion carries, and we'll put out another invitation for people to apply for that position.
So this will move to January meeting?
I don't think we'll have time to advertise and collect them. It'll probably have to go to the February meeting at this point. You know, what you say, Kelly? Yeah, we'll have to move it to the February meeting.
There would be really no problem with that at the EDC.
Everything won't fall apart?
Nah, we got her nailed together real well.
All right. So we move then to standing committee reports, starting off with Building Grounds, Legislative, Natural Resources, Information Technology. That is chaired by Commissioner Savoy.
We had a legislative meeting on December 6th, 3:30, called the meeting to order. Present was myself, Commissioner McLean, and Commissioner Martin. There were 10 other people there, including a lot of law enforcement, prosecutor, and assistant prosecutor. We had only 2 agenda items. The first, no public comment. I skipped that. 2 agenda items. First one was vaping. We had a presentation by Tim Hall, superintendent from Sioux Area Schools, and Mark Pulaski. He's superintendent from Rudyard Area Schools. Essentially, they wanted us to create a county-wide ordinance. If you're 17 or under, it'd be illegal to possess vaping paraphernalia or to vape. We beat this issue to death for probably an hour and 20 minutes. And I'll speak on more of it here later, but there was a motion by Commissioner McLean to create a county-wide ordinance for people 17 and under as a civil infraction, essentially up to a $500 fine. The motion died for lack of support. We then had policy 405, which deals with recreational marijuana. We have to amend our policy to include that marijuana will not be on the premises, employees will not be under influence of the drug. And essentially, we're going to treat it the same way as alcohol. if you come in the building with alcohol, you have to return it to your vehicle. Marijuana, same thing. We're gonna follow the federal guidelines. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Martin, to approve the changes in policy 405 on voice call. Motion, it carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion is made and supported that we amend, policy 405 to, include the, marijuana, since its status has changed in Michigan. Is there any discussion on that motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Then we had chairman's comments. I'd just like to say this to the public so you understand where we're going with this ordinance. I think I can speak on behalf of the rest of the commissioners. There's no one here that want our students or teenagers to vape. We don't want them use tobacco products. We don't want them use alcohol or drugs. We just felt that in general, even the law enforcement didn't step forward and support this ordinance. Prosecutor says there's already adequate other laws that he could use if we had a problem child. But speaking for myself, I don't want to criminalize our kids when the rest of the state, it's not illegal. And we plug them into the criminal justice system, it's going to affect their student loans, it's going to affect getting in the service, it's going to have, they're going to get kicked out of school. So we don't condone vaping, but we don't want a law against it. And when we start creating our own laws, I said this jokingly the other night, we got to be careful where we're going with that, because there'll be other groups that want ordinances for other things. And I think this is a role of the state. The state has to step in and treat this like tobacco. And that's where we should focus our emphasis on. Put pressure on the state to get it passed. It was moved by Commissioner McLean and second by Commissioner Martin to adjourn, and we adjourned at 4:30. And I so moved to accept the report.
Support. Motion made and supported that we accept the report from Building and Grounds, Legislative Natural Resources, Information Technology Committee from Chairman Savoy. So thank you for your report. Is there, there was a second, was there not?
Yeah.
All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
could I just have a few minutes to
Sure.
speak? After we went through this, I was listening to a TV report the other day, and you know, they come out with some new statistics on this, and it's quite a problem. I didn't realize it was as big a problem as that, but the national statistics show that it's 25% of some particular grade in high school has used it in the last so many days, and that type of thing. I'm just going to put this out that maybe we should have one of our first actions in the new year would be to put together a resolution saying we think the state should act upon this in order to correct the situation. And I guess, can we do that without a motion, or do we need to?
I think a motion would be appropriate if that's.
Okay, I'd so
what
move that
you'd
we
like
put
to do.
together a resolution dealing with the vaping issue addressed to the new legislature and the governor.
I'll support.
Okay.
I think we'll all support.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, and again, I know we could talk about this for probably another hour and 20 minutes, but I just want to mention one thing. Everybody discussed it, that this really should be a state law, right? Everybody agreed, this should be state, this should be state. Well, I know how a law is made in the state. You get a bill introduced in one side, let's say the House of Representatives. It goes to committee, it gets debated and debated and debated, and then it's voted on. Then it goes out to the full House of Representatives. It's debated, and it's voted on. Then it goes to the Senate. It goes to committee. One side argues for it, one side argues against it. It's debated, you hear all the issues and all the research. Then it goes to the full Senate, and then it gets voted on. Again, everybody's researching and debating it. Then it goes to the governor for a signature, and he talks to experts about it. We're supposed to pass something equal to a state law because the superintendent comes and talks to us for an hour. I mean, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't think we're hearing both sides of the argument. I don't think we're getting all the information. I don't think it's appropriate that we're passing a law appropriate for the state at the county level. And I was just not comfortable with the whole issue. That being said, I'm supportive of the state taking a close, serious look and dealing with the issue as appropriate, whatever they come up with as a priority. And I would hope that that's sort of what our resolution is directed at.
One thing I because we talked about, possible opioids being in there, hashish oil, THC, anything could be in that vape device. But if they have nicotine in it and they're under 18, that's already illegal. If they have obviously any drug, any controlled substance at all in it, that's already covered. We've got the truancy law to cover those 18-year-olds who are doing those things in the building, because when you're 18, you can have a vape with nicotine in it. But under the truancy law, if you said you had the bad kid, they can now get that 18-year-old out of the school. So the tools are there, and it's something we absolutely need to discuss, but it's something that I believe this is Lansing's realm. Coming to us would be, I would say, a last-ditch effort. And, if we're a year down the road and the state hasn't done anything,
Yeah.
I'm surely in favor of revisiting this to do what's best for our county's children. And if we step on some toes of tourists, then so be it. But I'm not ready to take this leap yet, because I think there are tools out there. I think we have at least I hope we have a House and a Senate that is listening and that also cares as much about our children as we do, and will protect not just our children, but all the children in the state of Michigan. Because they all deserve this protection. They all deserve, to be able to go to school and not be exposed to these things in the bathrooms like I've seen every day in our building. I mean, it is real. It is there. And my classroom's right across the street right across the hallway from the bathroom. And it's kids are doing serious damage, and they don't even know it yet. And the research isn't done yet. We don't know what the long-term effects are, even of the water. We've talked about, was it with the lungs?
Popcorn lung?
Yeah, popcorn lung. I mean, it's, it just seems like when we get a handle on one thing, we get another, and we still don't have the handle on the opioids. So,
the thing is, again, I know I don't want to prolong this discussion because we're actually not doing anything about it. But I was real curious because I heard about this popcorn lung. Oh my God, it sounds terrible. You know what popcorn lung is? It's something that's caused by a chemical called diactyl. Diactyl happens to have been found to be present sometimes in vaping. Diactyl is also present in cigarettes, 100 times stronger. And no cigarette smoker has ever gotten popcorn lung. And no person vaping has ever gotten popcorn lung. The only people who have gotten popcorn lung, are you ready for this, are people who work in microwave popcorn factories. And that's where the name popcorn lung came from. It's because they're being exposed to a heavy dose of this diactyl over a long period of time. And that's where it comes from.
cool.
So again, I just looking at it, it's like, this just doesn't add up, and it doesn't sound like something we should be dealing with. I think we need to tread very, very carefully when we start passing ordinances at a local level that is restricting people's personal behavior. And it's, I'm glad we're not going to take any action on it, because I'm just not comfortable with the thing, and I'm glad I'm not the only one. Anyway, you do have a motion on the floor that's been seconded to do a resolution in January asking the legislature to study and act appropriately on the vaping issue. And we're not actually voting on the resolution at this time, so we don't need a roll call vote. We're voting to get it done. So all in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. All right. Shall we move on? So you get me talking, because I've done some reading on this, and I'm like,
That's good to know.
this is interesting.
Good one for Jeopardy.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, we are done with your report. We're moving to finance, claims, and accounts. Commissioner Martin.
Regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Finance Claims and Account Committee was held on Tuesday, December 18th, with a quorum present of myself, Commissioner McLean, Commissioner Savoy, and Commissioner Egan. Commissioner Shackleton was absent. Others present were Karen Senkus, Anna Forrest, Jim German, and Kelly Church. We approved the agenda. There was no public comment. Some correspondence was received, basically on Healthcare First visa, and a letter of support to hospice. We then moved to agenda items, Health Department United Way UP mini grant of $350. We reviewed that mini grant, and it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Floyd, to accept and authorize the $350 mini grant from the United Way to help fund the middle school health fair, and I've always felt that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported to accept the $350 mini grant. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, we look at the medical examiner's annual insurance of $5,187, including a flat fee, policy fee, and tax for their liability insurance. Moved by Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve and authorize the medical examiner's annual professional liability insurance with Admiral Insurance Company in the amount of $5,187. On the voice vote, that motion carried. Now it's so moved.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we approve and authorize the MMRMA insurance. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, we went with Health Resource and Service Administration support and a memorandum of understanding regarding the Chippewa County Health Department being asked to provide support and to enter into an MOU to participate in regional application of federal funding which addresses the opioid epidemic. Chippewa County Health Department is seeking approval to participate in the gathering. It's a one-year planning grant. They have to apply for the grant. It's a one-year planning grant. The planning grant's being offered through Health HRSA for fiscal year 19 and the Rural Communities Opioid Response Program. Moved by Commissioner McLean after a short discussion, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to approve and authorize Chippewa County Health Department to participate and sign the MOU with Health Resources and Service Administration to participate in the Rural Communities Opioid Response Program Planning Fund. And I've always thought that motion carried. Now it's so moved.
Support.
Motion made and supported. I can't really summarize that shortly, so I'm just gonna assume you all know what that was.
Okay.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, pink ribbon request of $2,004.56. Moved by Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the pink ribbon number 18-11 in the amount of $2,004.56. Great cause. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I was so moved.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve the pink ribbon request. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, information system server quotes. There were 3 of them. 2 of them met specs. The low bid was $8,540.02 from Dell. Therefore, was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to authorize purchase for 1 server for 911 from Dell in the amount of $8,540.02 as quoted. On a voice vote, the motion carried. Now it's so moved.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we buy a new server for 911. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, remonumentation, surveyor, something that we've gone through this many times. Continuing on with Purpose Corners and surveying the county. We have grant number BCC 19-17, State of Michigan, Department of Licensing, Regulatory Affairs, Chippewa County, grant application. And this grant is going to be from 1/1/2019 to 12/31/2019, and it'll be in the amount of $110,755. Chippewa County contributing $15,000 to that. Therefore, that'll make it $125,755. Moving forward, it was Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve and authorize signatures for grant number BCC 19-17 to the State of Michigan, Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, Chippewa County, in 2019 grant application to be submitted to the Office of Land Surveying and Remonumentation. The grant is from 1/1/2019 to 12/31/2019 in the amount of $110,755, with Chippewa County contributing $15,000 for county remonumentation. I voice vote that motion carried. Now it's so moved.
Wow. Motion is made that we approve all that remonumentation applications and grants and things.
Support?
Do we have a support?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
More support the merrier.
Yeah,
There you go.
I can predict how you're gonna
I'm
vote
on the
now.
way.
So- Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, we had to make some tweaks to our AFLAC with seasonal employees and those who work less than 20 hours per week. After a short discussion and advice from the administration, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to authorize and approve the AFLAC payroll account acknowledgement, adding the health department and excluding seasonal and employees who work less than 20 hours per week. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported to change the AFLAC payroll agreement. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next claim was, I believe, over a Sheriff Department 2016 Dodge Charger for the total loss in an accident. MMRMA will pay the full, I'm guessing that's actuarial value, of $24,300. Sell and salvage the car and take care of all that stuff. Consequently, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Svoy, to authorize and approve MMRMA paying the county the full ACV of $24,300 with MMRMA selling the total vehicle to the highest bidder and waiving the county's purchasing policy to get the replaced vehicle as soon as possible. The vehicle price, including new and prior equipment, will be $27,343 on a voice vote. That motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we approve replacing the totaled out sheriff's vehicle. The only bad part of this was it wasn't one of the old ones that got totaled. So, is there any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, it was mentioned that it's getting harder to find chargers in this style, and also I mentioned something about upgrading to an SUV, and it was mentioned that those are harder to find. Is that because?
It's not production time.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't driving two sets of vehicles that were maybe out of production completely. So okay, just
Gotcha.
thank you.
We still need a vote on this. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, we had a letter of understanding between Chippewa County EDC and the Sheriff's Department for storage and a change in utility. Building 429 we're going to use from January 1st, 2019 until December 31st of 2019. Cost of $400 a month, which is $4,800 annually. It is a $1,200 per year increase. And the EDC also requests a Cleveland electric bill for this building be billed directly to the county. Moved by Commissioner Svoy, supported by Commissioner Egan, to authorize the letter of understanding between the Chippewa County EDC and the Sheriff to rent building 429 for storage from 1/1/2019 to 12/31/2019 with a price of $4,800, and to change the billing address for the Cleveland electric bill for said building. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Go ahead.
Support.
Motion made and supported on that building we're renting out in Kinross. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Quick question, and maybe you already told us, why did it go up 25%?
We moved from a small building to a larger building.
Okay.
It's handier. They now have a B-52 hangar to
Okay.
put all their equipment.
I thought you'd said
Do
something
they have a
about
B-52?
in.
That would be impressive.
Yeah.
The sheriff's department has a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
They have a B-52 now.
Oh, if we're going there, could I borrow it over
Yeah.
spring break?
Okay, motion is made and supported. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Okay, next we had plumbing of jail section A, the old section, cost of $28,540. It needed replacement, maintenance, upgrades. Section B is now completed, so they had to go on. The big reason for the high price is the fact that the steel toilets, $1,400, and times 6. But anyhow, we had to do what we have to do, and these things should last us a long, long, long time. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to approve and authorize plumbing estimate provided by Cardinal Plumbing for a section of the Chippewa County Correctional Facility in the amount of $28,540. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported to buy the steel toilets and everything else about that plumbing job. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Building Department rates, BSNA update, looking at increasing building permit fees by 3.9%. On a 1,200 square foot home, 3.51%, on an 896 square foot garage. Building inspector asked, though, that decks be added to the building, but with a flat cost of $65. After our discussion, that we felt these were reasonable. It was moved by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to authorize building permit fees to follow the ICC rates, utilizing the BSNA software, and add decks to the fees building at $65. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Okay, motion made and supported to come out with that new schedule of building permit fees following the BSNA software, which is our new setup. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, we had probate court, family division, legal services, couple contracts, Monica Lieres Quigley and Charles J. Palmer and James Bias. Each agreement was for the amount of $39,847. Annually to provide representation through final disposition for indigent respondents on all the signed cases generated by the courts. Moved by Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve legal service agreements between Chippewa County and individually with attorneys Monica Lieres Quigley, Charles J. Palmer, and James Bias, each agreement in the amount of $39,847 annually to provide representation through final disposition for indigent responses on all assigned cases generated by the courts. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported to let those contracts. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, we had MMRMA 2019 renewal for net asset distribution, renewal and contribution. It is a net asset distribution of $45,308 to be returned to the county's loss fund. Basically, long story short here, this is all a result of litigation. And it's the world we live in. After discussion, and I think in some ways discussed, it was moved by Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner Egan, to approve the net asset distribution of $45,308 to be returned for the county's loss fund, and approved the renewal and contribution breakdown is presented in the amount of $254,647 to MMRMA for the county's fiscal year 2019 property and liability insurance. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we renew and do everything we need to do to keep our insurance going there. With MMRMA, which is Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority or Association. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, we pay the bills. Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Savoy, recommended the approval of November bills and payroll as follows. General claims totaling $262,074.47. Other fund claims of $639,436.15. Payroll of $493,523.30. Health Department claims of $258,777.76. And Health Department payroll of $323,182.46. Total claims of $1,966,994.14. And vouchers H1 through H288. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we pay the bills, payroll, and claims. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We then took a look at budget amendments for fiscal year 2018. After doing so, it's moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to approve the year-end budget amendments as presented. On the voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported to make that change. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee then decided to rescind the motion from March 8th, 2018 about committed funds from fund balance. After a discussion, after discussion, prior to the motion, commit 1.65 million from the general fund to be used for infrastructure issues, litigation, potential corrective audit issues, upon recommendation of the administration. It was then decided and moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Floyd, to rescind the motion dated March 8, 2018, referencing committed funds from the fund balance on a voice vote. That motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
I don't think we don't need motion or support for opting out of requirement PA,
No,
because we did that
we've
here.
already done that.
We then had closed session, which we don't go into that. We then had a 4-0 roll call vote in which we came back into session, after which it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to accept and authorize signature for the TPOAM labor contracts as presented for the circuit court unit, the probate court unit, and the courthouse unit, and changing the TPOAM pay scale to a standard 2 decimal number, not the current 4 decimals, provided the union agrees on the decimal change. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we approve that contract, those contracts. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, we had Mr. German address the committee about city-county sharing sculpture for Ice Carnival, and we had a brief discussion about vaping. I had no comments. It was then moved by Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner Egan, to adjourn. Therefore, I will move that we accept the minutes of Finance, Claims, and Accounts Committee meeting of December 18th, 2018 as presented.
Support.
Motion made to accept those meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Did I do that right? Okay. In any case, it passed. That completes our standing committee reports. We move to commissioner report on meetings as board representative and general comments. Commissioner Egan.
I would just like to take this time to thank everybody for a wonderful year, especially the staff of Chippewa County. They're doing a great job. It's not going unnoticed. A lot of people have expressed how wonderful things are, and it's been a pleasure. And Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you very much, Connor.
Merry
Anyone else?
Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yep, I'd like to say, Mr. German, stay safe and thank you for your service. Glad you
Yep.
participated in our meeting tonight.
Thank you
Merry
for having us,
Christmas
sir.
to everyone.
Thank you very much.
We probably we won't all repeat it individually, but we all feel that way.
Yeah.
Anything?
I attended a number of meetings, and one of them was the UPCAP meeting, and they gave a report on the lame duck session. A number of bills died in the lame duck session because of various technicalities. There was one dealing with solid waste. It's called the tipping fee. They're going to raise the cost on handling garbage or trash in the state, but that failed in the Senate. The septic reform bill failed in the House, or it died in the House. It had gone through the Senate. The reimbursement to go to counties for lost tax revenue for the veterans tax exemption that was put in a couple of years ago, that also died. And if you're familiar with that, the state passed a law saying that certain veterans would be exempt from property tax. They made no provision to handle the loss in revenue at the county level, and it's significant. Also, raising the juvenile age for juvenile court from 17 to 18 also failed, and the road bill, the dark stores bill, also failed. The governor has on his desk one that's significant to counties, and that is the assessing bill. They made a number of changes in that, and we'll see if the governor signs it. But it's something that in its initial form, and Chairman Shackleton mentioned that was in adjustment, and they made a number of adjustments in that, and apparently we'll see what happens to it from there. On another area, I want to commend the Sheriff's Office, Sheriff's Department. they bought a tree in the Avery Square lobby for Christmas and decorated it for a contest. The thing is, they bought the tree and numbers of other people, I think there were almost 30 trees that were purchased. I think they went for like $250 each, and they decorated them, then they had a contest. The thing about it is the money went to the Community Action Walk for Warmth program, which needed the funds. On a sadder note, if you're not familiar with it, the EDC had a fire on the base last week, and it was for a company called UP Shavings, which was locally owned. They were making shavings. They've been into business for quite a while. They had 15 employees. They were making shavings to sell for horse bedding, and they'd been doing this right along. They'd just gotten a contract for someplace in Wisconsin, and they were anticipating gearing up and really increasing production. They even contacted us about the possibility of setting up a railroad siding so they could ship by rail instead of truck. They had a fire there, and the building was a total loss. The building was insured, and it belongs to the EDC, but we're working real hard to put together some kind of a plan in order to get them back into business. If they aren't back in production by, I believe it's May, then all bets are off. So we're really scrambling, trying to get that up and running. It was a bad thing to have happen, particularly at Christmas time. So,
Thanks. And I see the legislature is in session still. This is the last night for lame duck. And they're taking up, they're doing a lot of work today. I've been watching them. It's a lot of bills passing today. So,
Good night, second here. Young Mr. Chairman, I hope when you're through with your service, you think about going to school.
I'm sorry, sir.
Think about going to school, getting a teaching degree, come back here, pay it forward. You know, we have a lot of great kids, and we see them leave, and they don't get a chance sometimes to come back and have kids have the experience that you had in Sioux schools. And that, you know, just a thought out there, because we have so many great kids that leave and never come back.
No pressure.
I look at Miss McLean's grandchildren.
It's only in the minutes.
Savoy.
It's something I would definitely want to consider.
And Mr. Shackleton's kids are awesome.
thank you.
I
I think so too.
The other shout out is, and he does this every year, and he does it with no fanfare. The food drive that you and the sheriff's department do is a service to the community that I know you don't want to be recognized for it, but too bad. So we appreciate what you do for the community,
Well, I
Commissioner
appreciate it.
Shackleton.
And the thing is, we're just standing there with our hand out. It's the community that brings the food. So it's a great event.
I have one more little thing I need to say. We had a tragedy on Drummond Island. Lost two very wonderful people to a house fire. Our sheriff's department made the extra effort to come down to Drummond and bring one of the surviving children a Christmas stocking and a gift card for the mom, and it literally brightened both their days, and it was a huge thing, and it's that type of thing that makes me proud to be part of Chippewa County.
Very good. Anyone else? Well,
Motion to adjourn.
listen, pal. That's okay, because all I was going to say is Merry Christmas. Motion to adjourn. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. We're adjourned.
I'll talk to you before.
Merry Christmas, Jim.
I didn't mean to.
No pressure.